Hi, my name is Casey Belger. I'm from a very small town of Boltonville, located in southeastern Wisconsin, and I've been beekeeping for about 6 months now. How did it all start? 15 years ago, my now husband and I went on a blind date, and we both had a very common interest in sheep and homesteading, and I feel like we blinked and here we are. So about 5-6 years ago now, we got married and bought a local fixer-upper hobby farm. I'm a lifelong horse girl. So it was really important to me that my horses could be at our house, along with our flock of sheep. And I've always been really into gardening. I did not grow up on a farm, but I got there as fast as I could. I grew up out in the country with my parents and my brother. My mom was really into gardening and had some small fruit trees and an orchard, and it's just something I always really took interest in. Some of my earliest memories, I can remember canning peaches and dilly beans with her, and I just knew that someday when I get married and I have kids, this is what I want to do at my house. Yeah, here we are. I guess you could call us homesteaders. To us, it's just normal, average life on farm. I've been documenting my homesteading, my life on Instagram for about 10 years now. It hasn't been really heavy towards our homesteading until we bought our farm about 5-6 years ago. And about last summer, I just kind of challenged myself. I was trying to do the 75 hard to get back in shape after I had 3 kids in less than 3 years. And I said, you know what, I'm going to add to my 75 hard challenge, and every single day for 75 days, let's post on social media, just something. Maybe I'm cutting the grass, I'm riding my horse, we're canning peaches, making applesauce. Let's just share and see if we can build some type of community. I really, really enjoy what we do at home, and I like sharing that with other people. I've always had a strong little passion for photography too. So I think that really kind of helps. And I like the techie social media, videography type of stuff. So we've been sharing now, like I said, maybe 10 years total, but I've really been into it about a year, and I've grown my following primarily on Instagram. We do have a Facebook page I've been trying to use a little bit more. So from sharing our life on social media, that has definitely grown my interest in the homesteading community. For example, the bees. There's a couple of other followers or other creators rather on Instagram that got into beekeeping, and I thought, you know what, I wonder if I could do this. How hard can it be, right? And I've also gotten into pigs this year. My husband used to raise pigs, and we both did 4-H, and I had a really good friend that did pigs, but I wasn't really into it. And I seen someone down the road had pigs for sale, and we decided, let's try that too. So how did I educate myself regarding beekeeping? Well, it all kind of started with going to my local farmer's market. I'd highly suggest that for anybody new or not necessarily in beekeeping in general, just a new, maybe like a homesteading hobby. There was a booth that I seen every Saturday morning that had the most beautiful honey and all different products available. And I just kind of walked up one morning when it was slow and said, "Hi, I'm Casey. Can you tell me about your beekeeping and your beekeeping experience and how you got here?" So as you can imagine, that was probably most of the morning I spent standing at that little booth, getting to know this older gentleman about his process and how he got started and where he's from. He passed along some information for a local beekeeping course for an intro to beekeepers. And so my mom and I took that about 2 winters ago now. And then we just kind of started shopping from there. I went back to that local beekeeper, that first guy from the farmer's market, and he suggested that I reached out to another bee company about an hour away from us that had beehives for sale, like a 5-frame nuke. So that's what we went with, and we ordered, and then that built a new connection. So I started talking to this guy I bought the bees from and said, "Hey, what do I need?" I took a crash course, but I haven't experienced it yet, and I'm the type of person that learns from hands-on experience, and I really don't want to fail because I really like these bees. So then he kind of gave me some tips and tricks. Yeah, my husband's really into YouTube also. I know he's always telling me about what he watched on YouTube about beekeeping, so there's some of that too. So what made me look into Hoover hives specifically? I would have to say, honestly, I judged the book by the cover. I said, wow, these are beautiful hives. I love the color, the fact that they're wax coated. They just looked so pretty. In my mind, when I think of beehives, I think of this beautiful wooden hive standing there. So I guess I just kind of reached out, and I seen that Galena Farms offered them. So now about 6 months into beekeeping, how would I say the hive is holding up? How would I judge it? Phenomenal. We live in Wisconsin, so we experience all seasons of weather here. So far, we've just had spring and early summer, but it's been very wet, very windy, just kind of a crummy spring, to be honest, in my area. We actually are about 7 degrees cooler for the month of May. So it's been really crummy, and hives look beautiful. They're definitely withstanding the elements. They still have that nice wax coating on them. I really don't see any faults at this time. So my best piece of advice for a beginning beekeeper would be to go to a local farmer's market or find a local beekeeper and introduce yourself and build some type of friendship and ask if, hey, can I follow you? Can I just kind of observe how you do this process? Like I said, I learn best from the hands-on doing, and I would really suggest finding someone, some type of mentor, and getting that hands-on experience. My dreams or goals of my honey after I harvest this year, it might sound silly, but make ice cream. I love ice cream, especially homemade ice cream. And again, going back to our orchard that we have, my husband jokes that this is a really expensive pie you're planting. Well, yeah, I like to eat pie and ice cream every day. So one of my goals once we harvest our first batch of honey is to make some homemade ice cream with my kids, of course, but I'll definitely have an extra scoop. So inspecting our hives and what we've been seeing so far this season. Well, again, I'm new, so I don't know what I don't know. But from what we've noticed, we bought an initial 5-frame nuke that we plopped in. That bottom's super deep, and it's been doing really well. They expanded in a couple weeks. We added that second box, and that one got full. Everybody seems to be healthy and happy. The comb is spreading what I would say pretty evenly. I've been lucky to find the queen every time that I've peeked in. It looks pretty good. I have not observed this week yet since I added my honey super. So I'm excited to see what we're gonna find in that one. In the process of beekeeping, what would I be most worried about? Well, aside from the hive dying, I guess kind of going off of that would be overwintering. Again, I live in Wisconsin and the weather can be quite harsh here. I believe we have a really good location picked out with some natural wind barriers such as trees, and we're also farmers, so we have a lot of hay wagons and such parked around by that area. I'm hoping they can overwinter it. I'm not overly educated a whole lot about swarms and how to prevent your bees from swarming. I've been reading up on some of that this past week, so I'll be looking for those swarm cells. But that's probably what I'm most anxious about. Who do I watch most on YouTube for educational purposes on beekeeping? So someone we find a lot of value in on YouTube is Larissa from Beekeeping Made Simple. It's just like how her handle name is, Beekeeping Made Simple. She has her videos labeled really, really nicely. So if you're looking for specific content, you can just kind of browse on her page, say, yep, this is what I want to learn about today. I would highly recommend following her. I hope you've enjoyed our story. Thanks for having us, Galena Farms. If you want to follow along with our beekeeping and hobby farm homesteading adventures, I'm on Instagram as Back with Barbie or on Facebook as Rusty Bee Acres.